Hi guys, it's World AIDS Day today and I wanted to come out as HIV positive and celebrate my 10 years mark living with HIV. Just in case my friends or family are watching this, I have to say I'm very healthy. After 10 years, I really don't think about HIV much. But it wasn't always like this. It took me about 10 years to be fully okay with it. I think my biggest struggle was my mental health issues because the stigma of this virus is very hard to cope. Especially living in Asia, there was not much awareness on HIV or homosexuality. But in US, I see a lot of changes are happening. One of the movements that is happening is U=U campaign, which is about spreading awareness on how undetectable means untransmittable. Meaning, if a person with HIV has been on medication and their blood work shows no amount of the virus, that means they cannot transmit HIV. The transmission of HIV only happens when the person is not on meds or not aware of their status. This is becoming more of a common knowledge here in the States, at least in the gay community. But in South Korea, which is where I immigrated from, it's quite different. Even health professionals are not really aware of this. For example, when I had to go through a surgery in Korea, one of the nurses saw my chart and she freaked out. She refused to touch me, and then she suddenly started to cry and left the surgery room. While I was still lying down on the surgery table, vulnerable and half naked. I was very angry and ashamed, but somehow I didn't take it personally because I knew she was just terrified of what she thought she knew. So my point is, because of this kind of stigma that HIV is this deadly, dirty, super contagious disease, is the reason why we're still fighting with the virus. People are really afraid to get tested and prefer not to know their status. If we tested HIV like we test for COVID right now, this HIV pandemic would have ended much sooner. Because just like COVID, people who do not know their status spread the virus, not the people living with HIV that are on meds. I chose to get out of Korea so I can live my life as who I am, as a gay man living with HIV. But here's the thing, South Korea is the only country among OECD countries where new HIV patient numbers are growing every year. And it's mostly young gay men, of course. And these gay youth living with HIV suffer a great deal of depression, and suicide rate is crazy high. And I cannot ignore the fact that this is still happening, because I know there isn't enough help for them. So this is my version of doing something. I know I cannot change people. I don't expect to change what people think or how they think. All I know is that I can share my story and that might help someone who is in the same shoe. When I was diagnosed, I was just a 20-year-old gay boy with no money and no job. I had nothing. I had just lost my father to cancer, and my mother had cut me off financially because she found out that I was gay. But after 10 years, I'm still here. I survived, and I'm healthier than ever. And I look back those days, and I'm able to see the lessons I got. And I'm ready to share my journey, because this is part of my own healing process as well. HIV diagnosis doesn't have to be the end of life. In fact, it can be the new beginning. In this YouTube series, I want to talk about how I was able to turn my life from despair to something positive. These are the things that I wish I had known, things that I needed to hear when I was diagnosed. So basically, this whole series is going to be a letter to my 20-year-old self. So if you are in need of help or have questions about living with HIV, send me a message, email me, or comment below. I'll try to answer them all in the videos. And thank you so much for watching today. If you want to help, spread awareness, share this video, and donate to HIV organizations. Take care, and I will see you next time.